Good afternoon. All right, so it's been a little while. We'll see if anybody still pays attention to Periscope anymore. Hey guys. All right, let's see if we can get set up here. Hey. So I was preparing to do a little training for my team and figured might as well Periscope it because I think it's really good stuff. So I'm not going to wait too long because I don't want there to be that long. I know. Hi. Hey, hey. Hey, Jana. Hey, Alyssa. So I'm going to kind of jump into it, and those that are joining later, you can go back and watch the beginning. Hey, nice to see you guys too. Well, I can't see any of you, but I see your comments. All right, so my team currently, hey, Sarah. So my team is currently going through a challenge where we called it Make a Connection. And we challenged everyone to connect with 3 people each day for 10 days. And that can be people that are not currently signed up with Young Living. My name is Jessica Jacobs. I'm in Young Living. Okay. So it can be people that are not signed up with Young Living, but more importantly, people that actually are already signed up and in their downline. And we encourage them to just call them up and make a connection. Hey, Hannah. Hey, Jocelyn. To make a connection with those people, because a lot of times once people sign up, life gets in the way and they just forget to connect with the people that they already have. And so we did not say the words care call at all because I think people are scared of that. And it's been interesting because a couple people have said, oh my gosh, I love connecting with my people. And one of them even said, I realized I love care calls. And so just pushing people to try them and to get started with them, and just trying to give them some ideas of who they can call and what they can talk about and all that kind of stuff. So you're really just trying to connect with your people. And if they need help with oils that they didn't use in their kit, if they need help with reordering, any of that stuff, we gave them a list of questions that they could ask their people, but really just trying to connect with people and offer, whatever. Oh, thanks. Glad to be back. Offer them whatever, wherever they're at, whatever they need, whatever questions they have. We found out that a lot of times, people aren't necessarily going to go to the effort of, finding your phone number or your email to try and ask you a question. But if you can, if you reach out to them, then a lot of times, oh, hey, while I've got you on the phone, I had a couple questions, then they can ask you about how to reorder or whatever. So the training that I wanted to share with my team today was actually from this book, the John Maxwell 15 Laws of Invaluable Laws of Growth. Invaluable Laws of Growth, same thing. And so I pulled it out and I'd started to read that book. Yes, so I started to read it a couple months ago and then set it down. So I picked it back up today and started reading it, and gosh, it is just so good. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about with my team was the law of intentionality. And this is something cool. Hey, Susan. So one of the things that I'm really trying to do is to be intentional about life. And so I'm going to kind of talk about this chapter and kind of some of the high points in it. And and kind of some things that it's meant for me. So his first law is the law of intentionality. Growth doesn't just happen. And he talks about how, when you're young, every year you grow, you get taller, whatever. It just happens. Doesn't matter what you do, it's going to happen. But sometimes we think as adults that that's going to happen in our business or, in our family or in, fill in the blank. And we don't realize that growth isn't a given. We're going to actually have to do something with it. He says hope isn't a strategy. Well, I hope I make more money this year than I did last year, or I hope my kids grow up to be, well-rounded individuals. That's not a strategy for life, and it's not a strategy for growth. And so one of the things he says that I really, really liked was if you focus on goals, you may hit the goals, but that doesn't guarantee growth. If you focus on growth, you will grow and always hit goals. So I thought that was really good because sometimes we focus on the wrong thing. We focus on, one thing that we want to do, a goal. Okay, I want to, make this amount of money, or I want to, sign up this many people. But we forget that a lot of times those things happen because we're growing as an individual. Okay, that might look like you go out and join a new group of people. Maybe you go join a Bible study, or maybe you go join a mom's group, or something like that. And because you're growing and you're pushing yourself and learning new things, then all of a sudden you meet new people. people, and then you get new signups. So instead of focusing on, one particular thing, if you focus on growth, you're going to hit your goals. He quotes James Allen in the book. Absolutely, the journey is very important to hitting those goals. James Allen wrote a book called As a Man Thinketh. And he says, people are anxious to improve their circumstances, but are unwilling to improve themselves. They therefore remain bound. So good. So good. So many times we, write down goals at the beginning of the year, or maybe even each month, where you want to be, what you want to make, all these kinds of, what rank you want to hit, but you're not willing to take the steps to get there. And, again, sometimes it's like, well, I don't exactly know how to get there. Well, when you focus on growth, focus on improving yourself, focus on learning, then all of those things will start to happen. So he goes through 8 misconceptions about growth. And these are really good. I'm just going to highlight them real quick. I'm not going to, be on here for an hour because I could. The assumption gap. The first one was, I assume that I will automatically grow. Okay, there are no givens. You're not automatically going to grow. And some of you, if you are in Young Living and have been having an interesting January like the rest of us, growth is not given. Just because you had a really good month last month doesn't mean that this month is going to be better. And this last year has been a really good example of that for me. Had a really great spring, and then FDA and summer hit, and there were some challenges there. My numbers went down, and then December they went down a little bit, but then January they really went down. So growth is not a given every time. The second one is the knowledge gap. I don't know how to grow. Okay, so maybe that's you. Yes, if you had a slow January, you are in the majority of most people in Young Living. I don't know how to grow. So this is a really important one. If you don't know how to grow, then you're going to have to start to research some things, okay? And it doesn't necessarily have to be a business goal for you to be able to hit business goals. Wait, I think I was just really redundant there. What I mean is, many times when you focus on personal growth, for example, if you've been reading a book a month, or whether it's a spiritual book, or maybe getting up and having your quiet time, or really focusing on reading for 30 minutes each day. Lots of growth. Readers are leaders. If you haven't heard that, it's a really common saying. And hi. Can you go watch your movie, please? Oh, my little girl's going to come say hi. Say hi.
Hi.
Okay. Now go bye.
Bye.
So focusing on, a personal growth, a personal goal, meaning, maybe you want to, hey, Cindy. Hey, Sarah. Again, like for me, I need to work on my morning quiet times. And I know that by working on my morning quiet times, it's going to, set the tone for the rest of my day. And I know that it's going to make me more productive when I sit down to work, because I've focused my morning, I've, kind of gotten my peace for the day, and the rest of my day is going to go better. Reading. I've got a bazillion books. I like to collect books. Is anybody else in that boat? I don't read very many of them, but I love to collect books. Of course, I have the intention of reading all of them. And so that's one of the things that I want to start to do, is to actually start to read all the books that I have. I've got 2 more coming from Amazon Prime today, probably. So I want to start to read them. Well, okay, how do you eat an elephant? 1 bite at a time. That's how I feel about my book collection. It's an elephant, right? There's a million books that I want to read. So I'm going to pick one up and I'm going to read for 30 minutes. I'm going to do that. That is going to be a huge area of growth in my life. What oils are behind me? Oh, they're all empties right now. That's just a cute little thing. Am I a green? Nope. But I'm a red for sure. But green would be next. I used to be a math teacher, and so there is a little bit of green, and the green does pop out sometimes when we're dealing with numbers, but otherwise I'm not a rule follower. I don't need to analyze everything, so I'm not green in those areas. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to start to read, and I know that that's going to be a huge area of growth, because all these books that I have to read, they're all about, growth and learning new things and all that kind of stuff. So, okay, do you want to put in the Barbie movie? Okay, why don't you do that? Okay. One of my kids has chicken pox, The other one had it 2 weeks ago. So we've been at home a lot over the last couple weeks. Okay, so it's much better to plan your growth intentionally. So he talks about the School of Hard Knocks, which everybody goes through the School of Hard Knocks, but you don't have to. And if you swipe to the left, you'll see my handle and you can click follow, I'm pretty sure. School of Hard Knocks, we all go through it in some area, but you don't have to in every area, okay? So if you plan your growth intentionally, life will be much smoother, okay? So he tells a story how he wanted to hire this mentor guy because he kind of, at one point in his life, he was looking for direction. This guy had it was an $800 like mentorship, right? And so that was a huge amount of money, but they saved and scrimped for like 6 months, saved up the $800, got the guy's kit. He got the kit, he opened it up, and it was a growth kit, and it covered 5 areas. Attitude, goals, discipline, measurement, and consistency. Okay, that's huge. And I would say at least 4 of those 5, you could probably sit down and write out things that you know you need to grow in and what you can do to grow. So, oh, hey, Megan. So it doesn't, a lot of times this stuff isn't new to us. We've heard it in different places, in churches or in business trainings or at work or whatever, but we just don't sit down to actually process it. All right, so another one, the timing gap. It's not the right time to begin. Oh, how many times have we heard this? The 5 growth, okay, the areas that he talked about were attitude, goals, discipline, measurement, and consistency. I don't exactly know what he means about measurement, what he means about measurement. That would be the only one that I would think that people might go, well, I'm not sure what he means by that. But everything else, you can probably sit down and write out some things, areas you need to grow in discipline, in consistency, and what you need to do to grow in those areas. It's not the right time to begin. It is never the right time to begin. Can I tell you that? Never, ever. The month my business started, and this is the month that my son passed away. That was not the right month for me to start a business. And I had no idea what God was about to give me. But I hosted a class that month. And then the following month, I had an opportunity to go teach a class. And I know, and I hate to even, part of me hates to even mention it because it's not to build myself up and it's not to, for people to feel sorry. It's totally just an example of saying there isn't a good time. There isn't a perfect time. There is never going to be a perfect. There might be a better time than others, but there's never going to be a perfect time. So the following month, I really got out of the house just to kind of pretend like I was normal for a couple hours at night. And after a couple months, I felt like God was saying, hey, I'm trying to give you a business, pay attention here. So there's never going to be the perfect time, to do whatever it is that you want to do, to get up early and, read your Bible, to start working out, all of these things. There is never a perfect time. All right. So what great accomplishments, this is Frank Clark said this. He was an American politician. What great accomplishments we'd have in the world if everybody had done what they intended to do. He does work in mysterious ways. All the things we intended to do. I mean, you could probably make a list right now of things that you meant to do yesterday, right? Like 20 things that you meant to do, and they didn't happen. No, shame, no condemnation in that. Let it go. Start today and start to do some of those things and start to, check off some of those things. The law of diminishing intent. Oh my gosh, this so rang true. It says, the longer you wait to do something you should do now, the greater the odds that you will never actually do it. This makes me cry because I've had a list of things to do, especially for my business recently, some big tasks that I wanted to do, and it's been months and I have not gotten them done, y'all. So this is for me as much as anybody. Life lived for tomorrow will always be a day away from being realized. That was Leo Buscaglia. He was an author and a professor. All right, so mistake number 4, what did he call it?